this is Alyssa from the Friday Night Murder Club. It is time for part 3 of my Let's Play, Brilliant Shadows. I believe when we last left off, we were about to make a decision. And what a decision. Should we go to the gardens or go to the training grounds? I believe it's early in the morning. She looks like a delicate flower. Let's go to the gardens. Some fresh air and the scent of roses that weren't long since dried out would do her well. Yeah, okay. With that thought in mind, Ash drew a book from her shelf. It was one of the many she had read more than a dozen times before for her research. Tucking the book under her arm, she slid out the door, locking it behind herself. The walk to the garden was spent with the book as a blinder, obscuring the path directly before her. Not that it was one she needed to see to walk. She had taken that path almost every day for 16 years. Maybe we should have gone to the training grounds. The book itself was so familiar, she may as well recite it as read it. She discovered it in her 11th year. It had been in the Paladin section of the library. Its title was Healing Plants. She had at first assumed from the title it was Glossary of Medicinal Herbs. The actual contents were quite different. Though the book was old, it contained documentation into an entirely new technique. It documented a paladin's forays into attempting to heal plants. Ultimately, the very author determined the research, though successful, useless. Ash had seen it from another perspective. If one could perform one of the pairing magics upon a plant, why couldn't one perform the opposite? She had then begun her research into plant reanimation. Having finally graduated and paired, this should have been her golden opportunity to actually put her research to the test. Lacking a pair from which to draw the light needed, however, left her where she'd been the last 5 years.
Lighted shadows!
The rancor in the girl's voice was enough to peel her eyes from the book and to the garden around her. Oh, yeah, she looks happy. When exactly had she arrived? She had been really into it. A girl stood at the far end of the mostly empty garden. Her hand was outstretched, and she was sweating as she strained.
Come on!
The girl's intensity made the air feel heavy. Her pale face, a complexionnary side effect of being a necromancer, was beginning to darken and redden. Is that what's wrong with me? Am I a secret necromancer? I'm so pale.
Please!
The girl's outstretched hand flexed. At once, the girl collapsed, panting desperately. And boobs!
Are you okay?
The girl started, her eyes looking to Ash with fear.
I'm fine. Don't bother me! Can't you see I'm training?
Oh yeah. The young necromancer's eyes were heavy with tears. Ash wondered if the girl could even recognize her through that haze.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you need help?
No! I don't need help from anyone. I can pass my exams. No problem!
With that, the girl turned on her heel and was away at a run, if a slow one.
Well, okay then.
Ash shrugged and turned back to her book. She was sure the girl could use some help, but she wasn't about to offer it. She doubted she could really be of assistance anyways, with her own plate already tall with her own problems.
What you reading there?
Ooh, who's that? A new girl had appeared. She leaned over Ash with an interest and enthusiasm that reminded her of the day she'd found the book. Oh, she looked surprised. A shiver raced down her spine.
Sorry. Too close?
The girl stepped back. Oh, she's pretty.
It's a book on healing plants.
Healing plants? That doesn't sound particularly useful. Not unless you have sentient plants or something. Wait, there aren't sentient plants, are there?
They're going to get you.
No, or at least none I'm aware of. I use the book as a reference for my own research. It's become a kind of comfort read for me.
Oh, I know about those. I had a copy of the monster manual as a kid. I can't make it past Aboleth without nodding right off.
Oh yeah, me too. What? Abholeth? What was this girl on about?
Yeah, something like that.
So, what kind of research are you doing?
The girl was twirling a rose between her fingers.
I'm trying to develop a method to reanimate plants. I was hoping to test out my spells once I had been paired, but...
Ash simply trailed off, not really wanting to go into the details of her situation.
Yeah, I don't really understand the whole pairing thing.
Wait, aren't you a necromancer? Shouldn't you know this? Ash cocked an eyebrow at the girl. She looked the same age as her. Surely she should be years into her ritual training by now.
Well, not yet anyway. Not completely.
Good catch.
So, reanimating plants. That sounds more useful than healing them.
Oh, for sure. With a small smile, the girl carefully laid the rose on the book.
Could you, like, bring back a field of failed crops or something?
I don't know yet. It may leave the crops devoid of nutrition, so that may not be an option. I don't know what it can be used for, to be honest, or even if it can be done.
Just need to push the limits one way or another, huh?
Yep. Ash nodded and stared at the phoenix on her hand.
It's a pretty bird. What is it?
Was she asking what a mark was? No, that was rude to even assume. It only took her a moment more to realize what the girl had meant. Yeah, she couldn't possibly be randomly asking about a necromancer thing.
It's the phoenix mark. I don't know what it supposedly means, though. I don't buy into mark interpretation.
Well, you should. Maybe you're going to rise from the ashes, Ash.
Do you know anyone else with the mark?
No, it's pretty rare, apparently. Meaning, the only other person with my mark is my pair.
Idly, Ash's eyes fell to the girl's hands. She wore gloves. That was odd.
Ash, are you here?
Of course she's here. Prude's voice came from behind her, and Ash turned on
Ash, was it?
Ash turned to see the girl giving a small wave.
It looks like you have company. I will excuse myself. Good luck on your research.
Okay. The girl smiled as she departed, and Ash smiled back. Ash knew it would only be a matter of time before Prude found her. Prude was like that, always caring. The two of them walked together back towards Ash's room.
At least it doesn't look like it was me that woke you up this time.
No, just Hector. He lost consciousness on my bed.
And you say that so matter-of-factly.
Wait. Did he pass out while checking on you?
Yes, and might I add that it's nice to know that you didn't immediately assume the worst.
Please. Well, I won't say I couldn't imagine a romance forming between you two. I doubt either of you are the type to find yourselves in bed so early into it.
The two laughed, a little too loudly, perhaps. After a time, Ash slowed her pace, turning to look at Prude.
I just wanted to say that I'm sorry.
Sorry? For what?
I'm sorry that you're going to be stuck here with me. I know you were really looking forward to returning home and joining the King's Guard.
Oh, it's okay. I'm sure my mom can wait a bit longer. Excusing that, if it meant being away from my best friend, I wouldn't really want to go.
Ash knew the comment was supposed to comfort, but guilt strangled her.
You know that we're going to have to separate eventually. Even if we figure out what is happening with my mark, the fact remains that you were paired to Hector. Even if it turns out I wasn't properly paired, we still weren't paired to each other.
Well, my reasoning is that whoever you are eventually paired with will still end up paired.
What? Ash's heart beat quickly, and she could feel a blush in her cheeks.
Thanks for saying that.
We promised we'd always be together, right? Though, it's strange to think that there could be others involved in our little friendship.
Oh no, our duo is turning into a quad-core processor.
I barely knew Hector until the ritual.
Funny, he knew you.
He knows everybody, remember? He's creepy.
He did?
She seemed far too eager to hear more about Ash's last remark.
He came to wake me up the day of the ceremony, only minutes after yourself. He commented that it wasn't really a surprise that you'd have taken the time to wake me up.
Huh. I wonder if there was a personal reason for him knowing me, or if he just happens to have taken the time to memorize the identity of every student.
That's more likely.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised either way, though I don't know which is creepier.
I like her smile. Creepy.
Hey, he's still my partner. You shouldn't call him creepy.
My apologies, my dear, but I do believe it was he who called himself creepy. Or would you disagree with him?
Brood cocked her head in exaggerated thought.
I suppose I really can't argue with an expert.
The two laughed. It was a familiar sensation, and for a moment the shock of the ritual was finally, if however temporarily, behind them.
Should we maybe go for a walk and let him nap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh, I'm glad he's sleeping. I was actually starting to feel tired from the amount of sleep he was skipping. So, I wrote my mother with the news.
Oh, this ought to be interesting.
How did she handle it?
As well as can be expected.
So, poorly?
Brood nodded.
She says my duty to my kingdom is far greater than my duty to my school, and commands I leave at once. A greater concern is that the contract for her hedge mage has come up, and Aku says she has another position already waiting for her. Mother had been planning quite specifically for my prompt return.
No, okay. What's a hedge mage?
I'm sorry. This is all my fault. Tell her that for me.
Yes, it's all your fault.
Oh, she knows. She says that I should just bring Heck with me. And I quote, "Let the sodding moldy sacks who call themselves heads suck a wand."
Love it.
Oh, my. That's quite colorful language for royalty.
I know! I'm sure she was quite proud of it.
So, what are you going to do?
Well, my plan is similar to her own, save for one point she didn't account for. I intend to bring you.
Oh.
What, have a trio instead of a pair?
Oh yeah, baby.
Until we find the other phoenix? Yes.
That's ridiculous. It would also be a trio in name only. I wouldn't be able to actually contribute to pairing magic.
I think it's a good idea. Leaving you here is just tragic.
Yeah, probably. I like the different hallways they have here. When they were in the necromancer hallway, there were spiders on the ceiling. And now that I'm assuming they're in the paladin ward, we got wings and looks like almost yin-yang going on here.
That certainly sheds a positive light on my predicament.
I plan to have Hex speak with the heads. He might be able to convince them of the need to get you away from here.
No, I think they'd just be convinced that they need to get rid of him.
I only just noticed it, but are you calling him Heck?
Yeah, I'm Prude, you're Ash, and he's Heck.
We can't go more than one syllable. It's too much.
Oh, I suppose that makes sense. Why does he get a nickname already?
Well, I'm stuck with him for a long time one way or another. Might as well let him in on our fun a little early, no?
Maybe. Ash forced a smile.
So back to the matter at hand. Why do you insist on Heck talking to the heads? Shouldn't you have more clout, seeing as you're of a royal lineage?
You should know this better than I. But I think Heck's stronger than either of the heads alone, at least in terms of magical ability. Did you notice when he picked a fight with Zachariah in your room?
Maybe.
I noticed the blood, and when she kicked him in the stomach.
Yeah, he disagreed with how they handled the situation.
And what, he attacked them?
More or less.
Nice.
I didn't really see what escalated the argument, but by the time I was there, Zachariah was on the ground, and Luciana was turning purple while her golems were pummeling him into submission.
Nice.
Ash, he was a student 2 years ago. They are the heads of their orders. He shouldn't be that strong. Despite the confrontation, they have a certain degree of respect for him.
Sounds more like they have a certain degree of fear.
Still, they will listen to him more than myself.
I can't imagine they will still be willing to let us go.
If it means getting rid of Hector, maybe.
At some point, it won't be worth it for them to keep us here any longer. There really is only so much they can do to investigate this without resorting to something drastic like Heck wanted to try.
So what will I do there?
Well, I'm sure my mother will find uses for a trio of mages.
I'm sure.
And what if I never find the truth behind my mark?
Then you'll die an old, lonely hag in a royal castle.
Then you're still a capable necromancer who will, if nothing else, have a position in court.
Or that. That works too.
And no chance of high adventure, I suppose.
Perhaps not, but there was that risk when we decided to join the Kingsguard.
Prudence, Veronica, why are you about?
Oh, Zachariah.
Is there a reason we shouldn't be?
You should be in your rooms, pretending you don't exist.
Dearest goddess, I pray you're not taking after Hector so quickly. I had hoped a year or two of shame might have shackled a bit of that arrogance, but apparently it only made it infectious.
Well, aren't we the queen bee today?
Zachariah, there's no need to be so controlling. The girls are graduates after all.
Damn straight.
They may be graduates, but they're also involved in what may be the greatest scandal our school has ever experienced.
How is it a scandal? It's not her fault.
I am sure we will find out what has happened in time. Hector is busy looking into it right now.
Yes, looking into it. In his eyelids. Zachariah sneered.
We are conducting an investigation of our own. We do not need the assistance of a freshly paired pup to.
Luciana began laughing, and Zachariah looked embarrassed for a moment.
Zachariah is still a bit sore over losing.
I did not lose. He caught me off guard. Even the best warriors cannot easily counter a sneak attack.
I'm sure.
Of course, my love. A sneak attack.
You know, he was just sneak attacking her. Straight to her face. Total surprise.
Now, to be frank, we are entirely fine with Mr. Warlock pursuing his own line of research. But both Zachariah and I agree that there is likely a much more mundane explanation to this.
We do not understand the exact limitations of the ritual.
Really? What?
Most likely, there was someone performing the ritual at its absolute maximum range, possibly even outside the mountain.
What?
Meaning there is someone, possibly a candidate of significant ability and skill, in a nearby village, who will bear the Phoenix mark.
Oh.
And once we find this candidate, you will have a partner and will be allowed to leave.
Okay.
I'm confused. Why do Heck and Prude need to stay here then?
Zachariah looked uncomfortable with the question.
The fact still remains that if we are wrong, Hector has conducted more research related to the subject than any living mage. Though my dear will be loath to admit it, his knowledge and insight may be invaluable to determining an alternative cause.
Okay.
If he knew so much, you'd think he would have known the range of the ritual.
She's still a bit salty.
Yeah.
Now, if you'll excuse us, we were just about to go speak with your seekers. We need to conduct a sweep for candidates immediately.
Straight away. Zachariah maintained a sneer as the two walked away. Well, this seems like a good spot to stop at, so thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next video. Alright.